Yes, technical difficulties. Love them. Anyway, you were speaking about your seats in the bowl of
Yeah.
AEW.
So we were lower bowl. We were about 15 to 20 rows up, and we were right above where Moxley came out. So when Moxley came out from the back and Darby attacked him before the match, we were right above that area.
What was some of your favorite things about that night? Just being there. What were some of the highlights?
It was the atmosphere, and I mean, the stuff like the Copeland and Christian stuff, you knew that was going to be big because it's Toronto, they're from there. Um, and I mean, they had a couple of really big moments, which I really liked. I mean, the Statlander over Tony, that moment shocked a lot of people. But honestly, for me, when I first started watching AEW, I was a very big Jurassic Express fan. So Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus reuniting was a big thing, and I don't think I've heard a crowd louder than when Tarzan Boy was playing and they were all singing along to Tarzan Boy.
I remember him. I remember that. That was probably one of my favorite times of AEW.
Yeah,
So,
yep, go
what
ahead.
else did you take away? What else did you take away from this experience
You know,
compared to like a WWE show?
okay. So it's WWE shows. The crowd is the crowd is okay. The crowd like kind of gets involved every once in a while. But in this AEW pay-per-view, out of the 10 matches, they were like really vocal in I'd say 8 of them. So there's maybe one or two matches where they weren't really vocal, but most of the night they were going pretty strong.
Which matches?
The Big Bill and Eddie Kingston match, and then even the Hurt Syndicate and Ricochet and Gates of Agony match. Those two matches were kind of the crowd was kind of out of it in those two matches. But other than that, really, they were into most matches. Um, the only other one that might have been a little iffy might have been Mercedes and Riho. That was a little bit of a um, maybe the crowd wasn't as into it as they were in some other matches.
What was your favorite match?
For me, I think the match of the night was the triple threat for the unified title or whatever. The Okada, Takeshita, and Dorado. That was my match of the night. I knew that coming into it, I knew a lot about Okada. I knew a lot about Takeshita. Dorado wasn't somebody that I really knew a whole lot about. I figured he was just in there to take the pin in the match, which he did take the pin at the end, but he also showed me a lot. He impressed me a lot in terms of what he had in ring ability.
This was a long day for you, wasn't
Yeah, I got up. Let me see. I got up around 4 o'clock in the morning, like Eastern time. We arrived in Toronto around 10:30 Eastern time. The show started the pre-show started about 1:45 to 2 o'clock Eastern, and then the show didn't end till around 7:30, 8 o'clock Eastern, and then we had to make our way back to our room or whatever. So it was probably 10:30, 11 o'clock Eastern before we got to finally try to get some sleep.
it? Now, with your predictions, me and you had this conversation the other day. that you pretty much like you called a lot of those results, like the Tony Storm match.
Yeah, I called the Statlander win. I thought that it was something that would have been I thought that it was time that the that AEW gave her a little bit of a run. But there is one thing that's kind of concerning to me about it,
Okay,
because tonight she's defending that world title tonight, 4 days later against Mina Shirakawa. So I'm kind of like, are they really gonna pull the trigger on Statlander and then have her lose to somebody 4 days later? Like, I don't get why they're doing this world title match 4 days later, and I really, really hope that it's not a 4 day title reign.
explain to those who may be unaware why this potential title change could happen.
See, Mina Shirakawa, she's a very popular wrestler. She started over in Stardom in Japan, and AEW is very big on Mina Shirakawa. She's been a big part of AEW and Ring of Honor for maybe 4 to 5 months. She's been in some storylines with Tony Storm and things. I guess she's been around longer than that because she even was there when Mariah May, who's now Blake Monroe in WWE, was in AEW. Shirakawa was even around then. But Shirakawa is a great female wrestler. She is, on any given night, she could take a title off of anybody.
Interesting. What does your gut tell you?
My gut tells me that I don't think they would put the title on Statlander for 4 days after she's been around since 2019. I don't think that they'd have her first world title reign in 6 years be only 4 days long. But I also think that Tony Khan is out there to try to make money. And Mina Shirakawa is one of those people that is a fairly big name and can help him make more money.
What else is happening on Dynamite tonight or yesterday, depending on when this gets watched?
Yeah. So there's Don Callis family. So three members of the Don Callis family against Hologram, Mark Briscoe, and a mystery opponent. And what it sounds like from everything they've been um, alluding to is that it's the returning Orange Cassidy. So it seems like it's going to be Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, and Hologram against three members of the Don Callis family tonight.
Okay. Are you excited about this potential OC return?
See, I like OC. He's kind of he's an interesting, like, he's good in ring. He's kind of got an interesting gimmick. It's some people are like, what is he like? What does he actually do? And other people are like, well, he really doesn't do much. That's what makes it so fun. Like, he just stands there with his hands in his pocket at different times, and it's like, yeah, okay. So there's kind of both sides of the spectrum. Some people are like, I hate him because I don't think he does enough in the ring. And other people love the fact that he doesn't do as much in the ring as some other people.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when during AEW start when him and Jericho had their feud,
Yep.
and they had that the was it the champagne or something like Jericho's drink or something like that in that big pool. I think this is around
Oh,
COVID, where Orange Cassidy hits him with his orange punch or whatever, and Jericho
yeah.
falls into like this. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
I remember that. That was I enjoyed those matches. What else
yeah.
is going on Dynamite tonight?
Well, Tony Khan says he has a huge announcement. So who knows? It could be another title. It could be announcing another pay-per-view in Toronto next year. Who knows? Because Tony Khan's already said he's definitely coming back to Toronto. So like they could just be with the success that All Out had. This announcement could just be saying, "Hey, Toronto, we're coming back next year." I really don't know. It's normally when Tony Khan has a big announcement, it's either something about a pay-per-view or it's another title.
Well, I know the women's tag titles have been something that's been talked about for a while. Might be that.
hmm it very well could be, and that would be interesting because you've got some good tag teams in the women's division. Like you've got maybe three or four good tag teams in the women's division. And I'm sure you could put together a few makeshift tag teams too. So you might have like 6 or 8 teams in the tournament and you can crown champions that way.
Yeah, I mean, they'll probably honestly do it better than WWE does with their women's tag titles, which isn't saying much, but they have the talent, like you just said. They do have the talent to make this a thing. I don't hate AEW. I don't wish AEW bad because the better AEW does, the better everybody else will have to step up and vice versa.
Yeah,
Did you happen to go ahead?
you go ahead.
Um, while watching, while being there, experiencing everything, would you say even though the show was long, the time spent was well spent?
Yes, like it is a great atmosphere. It was a trip I'd do again in a heartbeat. Like we've already said, like if they do it again, if they're coming to Toronto again, we want to go again. Like there's no question on that. Um, the one thing I will say though that I did kind of find hilarious about this whole thing is WrestlePalooza started 4 hours later than AEW. So just as John Cena and Brock Lesnar are starting at WrestlePalooza, what's happening with AEW? But Jurassic Express is reuniting in Toronto in front of like this absolutely crowd that's going crazy. AEW's got these old fan favorites reuniting at the exact same moment that Cena and Lesnar are starting WrestlePalooza.
I Judging by how people feel about Brock versus Cena, I'm pretty sure that was not what WWE was wanting.
No,
That
I
Brock Cena match was exactly what I expected it to be.
yep, I heard. I myself decided, you know what? I've been through so much wrestling today. I'm not gonna watch WrestlePalooza, and I wasn't a huge fan of the card myself, anyway. Like I've seen the highlights, but I wasn't like a oh I've got to watch this card type thing.
And it's funny you say that because the guest I had on yesterday, speaking with Shaw, that conversation came up like, and she's not paying for the $30 for it, which I'm like, I understand. I would like to speak to people who paid the $30 and see was it worth it because to me, watching that card was like a super edition of Raw and SmackDown. The
See,
the, the biggest
yep. See, this is the thing. I have Netflix, so I get it with my Netflix here in Canada. So it's like 13, 15 bucks, 20 bucks, whatever it is. And I get all the WWE shows and pay-per-views. But the thing is, if you're going to go head to head, WWE and AEW, right now, I am gonna spend the 50 bucks and buy the AEW pay-per-view before watching the WWE one. There's no question on that. I know I'm a big fan of AEW, but I also feel like their pay-per-views, they just leave WWE in the dust. Like the matches that they have on their pay-per-view cards are like 10 times better than most WWE pay-per-view cards. And this is from a person who's watched WWE since 1991. And right now, I prefer to watch AEW 100%.
And you know what? That's that's more than fair. As and which is why I like speaking to you because I more predominantly watch WWE and you predominantly watch AEW, and it's interesting to have these conversations because from my point of view, from as a WWE fan, I understand why people won't pay the $30 for the ESPN thing because watching that show as a regular WWE fan, there was nothing impressive besides Stephanie versus Io, and everything was pretty much predictable. You knew Brock was going to win. The Bras were more than likely going to win. Punk and AJ were not going to lose the first match, and Cody wasn't going to lose the title. So it was like they talked about all this shock and surprises. The only surprise was Stephanie McMahon being announced for the Hall of Fame in September. Um, Congrats to her. I mean, she's more than deserving it, but it's like it's September. Why are you doing this now? You don't do this until like January.
Yeah.
Oh,
And so I think from what I have seen, I think what WWE was trying to do was be like, oh, we got our ass handed to us today in this pay-per-view thing. We got to do something to get people excited again.
well, one of the biggest complaints about Raw in particular is it starts the same, it ends the same. It starts with
Yep,
division, it ends in a vision type match. Now this week, finally, we actually had something not end with division, which was refreshing. And that's the problem with WWE. They have this mindset. They have a formula. Like, okay, we're gonna do this, and this, right? And it works. So they keep doing it over and over and over and over and over. And they're like, well, we're not going to change anything because people like it. But then when people get tired of it, they're like, well, we're giving them what they want. I don't want to see division in the main event every week.
yeah,
It's nice to
no,
see Rhea and Asuka in the main event
yeah,
because they're main event
it's
talent.
yeah, it's like, well, we're giving the people what they want. You're giving us what we wanted 5 months ago, but you've been giving us this for the last 5 months. We're tired of it. Give us something new.
It's like okay, that's like if somebody asks you, hey, what do you want for dinner? And you're like pizza, like okay, and then they make you pizza tomorrow and the next day and the next day, and it's like okay, like I wanted pizza like one time, like I'm good, and I know next week the Vision is supposed to wrestle the Usos again, so more than likely that's probably going to be the main event.
Oh
But
my. Yeah.
what's the main event for tonight? You think for AEW?
I think it's probably going to be the 6-man tag. I haven't seen the full card for tonight yet, but I would assume it's maybe going to be the Don Callis family against the Mark Briscoe hologram and the mystery partner that's supposedly Orange Cassidy.
So, what are you looking forward to with AEW as they build towards their next pay-per-view?
So I'm looking forward to see what they do again with the world title picture. Um, Fletcher, Fletcher did great in that match against Hangman. The Hangman and Fletcher match was absolutely amazing, but it's like the crowd, like we said to Fletcher throughout the match, you're not ready. Eventually, you're a future world heavyweight champion. There's no question Kyle Fletcher is one of the futures of that company, but he is not ready yet. And that was one of the chants during the match. They kept chanting, "You're not ready" at Fletcher. And, like I said, I love Kyle Fletcher, but it wasn't his time, and he didn't deserve it yet. So that I'm interested in. I'm interested to see what exactly they do with this Young Bucks and Jurassic Express storyline, because I want to see what how they work this Jurassic Express. Because when Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus left, they left through the face tunnels. So they left through the good guy tunnels, and they're going to be feuding with the Bucks, who are the heels. So that's going to be a thing. It'll be interesting to see even the women's division. Like I said, this Chris Statlander Mina Shirakawa match tonight, it'll be a great match, there's no question. But I want to see how far they'll let Stat go with this title. And it's going to be interesting to see if Statlander does end up joining up with the Death Riders or not. The Copen Christian and FTR stuff isn't done yet, because where FTR attacked Beth after the match, that's definitely not done. That storyline's going to keep going. And the Moxley and Darby storyline will keep going too.
How was that coffin match?
It was good. There was a lot of really Darby proved why he's like a lunatic, why he doesn't care about his own body type thing. Like he's always sacrificing his own body. And then I didn't even recognize Pac when he showed up. I didn't even realize that that's who it was. He didn't have the long hair. He didn't have the beard. I was just like, who is that? And my nephews were like, it's Pac. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't even realize who it was. And then
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I had seen he cut his hair. I was like, who the fuck is that? I didn't know who that was.
yeah, and then the afterwards there you had Darby put Mox in the bag or whatever in the background and light the bag on fire in the backstage area. So that feud's definitely still going, unless they did that to kind of give Moxley a little bit of time off of TV, which they could.
I feel like he's never off of TV. I feel like he's like
Yeah,
constantly there.
he is a workhorse. Like you might not always like the Death Riders storyline and stuff, but Moxley is one of the workhorses of that company.
Yeah, because I remember I felt like I seen a story like maybe like 2 years ago or something like that. I think that Moxley wanted to take time off and he ended up like winning the title or something like that, and he just
Yeah,
ended up sticking around.
unless I'm wrong, that was around the time that Punk was let go of AEW from AEW. So I think that was around the time like Punk was supposed to have the title for a little while, and then the whole Punk and Jack Perry thing at All Out 2023,
Real
um,
glass.
the Real Glass stuff, yep, and then Punk getting suspended and things like that. I think that Moxley was supposed to take time off around then, but then with everything that went down, Moxley ended up winning the title. And he's barely ever taken time off in AEW. And
Yeah,
it
I'm
would
like,
be,
I mean,
yeah,
every time like I don't watch AEW like frequently, but like usually if I poke my head in and see what's going on, like I'm like, damn, this guy is the definition of a workhorse wrestler, and
yeah.
that's one of the things I do like about Moxley. He will wrestle on the dynamite. He'll wrestle on the collision. Like it doesn't, he's not just I'm a wrestle on pay per views only. Like if you compare it to like WWE, where they're like, well, Rhea Ripley will wrestle on Raw once every like 3 months. And that's like back in the old days, man. You used to have like Stone Cold, Kurt Angle, main event Raw, or a SmackDown Raw Triple H, Austin Triple H. Like you don't get that nowadays. It feels like just to get these people, it has to be a special event.
See, that's one thing too, that is a big difference between AEW and WWE. WWE, their main stars are like, oh, let's do this on pay-per-views. Like, let's show up at pay-per-views. AEW, their main stars, like when he was healthy, Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland, John Moxley, Orange Cassidy, whoever it might be, they were always on like Collision, Dynamite, things like that. They weren't just pay-per-view wrestlers. They were every single week wrestlers out there busting their asses.
That's yeah, the facts are facts. That's true. Um. Anyway, as we wrap up this AEW edition, I would like to thank you for joining us and sticking with us through the technical difficulties. I think I figured out why it's not working. I might be out of storage on there, so it's probably why.
Ah, gotcha.
But
Okay.
yes, I would love to have you back on again and talk some more AEW. Um,
Yeah.
before we go,
Anytime.
this
Yeah.
yeah, maybe we can get you on again next week and we can talk about what happened on Dynamite. Try to get
Yeah.
more people to watch some AEW, maybe.
Yeah. You were
Um,
gonna say something? Yeah.
yes, has been wrestling therapy. Normally this is done at the beginning, but due to technical difficulties, we will do it at the end. If anybody ever would like to be a guest, please feel free to message me and we will make that happen. Follow on YouTube at Wrestling Therapy on YouTube. You can get a hold of me there, or on the TikTok, or one of those Insta apps, whatever they call them. But yes, that was our AEW. John, thank you for sharing your experience with us, and we will talk next week. Stay safe, stay blessed.
Thank you. Same to you.